here. We're here. We can be
Real
heard.
sweat.
Hello, hello. Yeah. Well,
I
listen. You know,
Way to come in.
you go for it, Spec. If you want to swear, you can
like
swear.
on a tier of like American to British. How far am I going?
You're an American, but an American who's like chilling with the family, but it's still like an upper middle class household.
So I can't even say hell.
No,
No, you
no,
can
no,
say
no, no. You're a few drinks in, and you're the uncle, so you're like allowed to get away with a little bit more.
I see. I see.
Anyway,
Oh,
this is a
uncle.
great-
That's different. I get that now. I get that now.
You're the uncle that
Aha.
every parent tells their kids not to be like.
Anyway,
Okay, I'm not in real life anyway.
this is a great intro. Welcome back to the breakdown, everybody. This is technically episode 4 because episode 4, I had a mental breakdown. That's pretty much what happened. That's the tales behind it. But that is why the past is behind us now. We're here with the future. And as I pointed out behind the scenes, this is the first week we had a majority of the people who are listed in the title. We've got Dexatron. We've got Spectron. They rhyme. Do y'all ever point out that rhyme to each other or no?
It doesn't really rhyme. It's like a
I think
half
other
rhyme.
people. I think
Tron,
other people do.
Beyond. Like, yeah, no, it's
There's
like
an
that.
on ending. That's true.
That's on. Yeah.
That's like Megalas rhymes with. You know, I'm not gonna be the cool uncle just yet.
Listen, I already made the team name Mega Ass. It's Solomon GG team. It exists. That actually would be a now I have a genius name for a fire game. But let me introduce Fletch. Because Fletch is also. I'd like to give a big shout out to Fletch. He's here every single week. And yeah, he's in the Fletch. Look at him.
Why are you holding a mic, by the way? You've been holding a mic all throughout today.
My mic stand broke.
How do you break a mic stand?
A little piece of plastic that was on it.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Okay, it's this.
Tactical misplay, realistically.
It just
that.
shattered. It just shattered,
Oh.
so it wouldn't stay on my desk anymore.
Mm,
There's nothing wrong with the actual stand, just the clamp.
I see. I get that.
Yeah.
This is what my setup is looking like right now.
Mm.
What's crazy is
On
we're similar matching setups because I haven't had that clamp. I left it at home when I went home for break, and so my mic is basically just propped up on like a similar desk thing in front of me.
Yeah, mine's sitting on top of my wallet right now.
Luckily this desk has like a little ledge thing on top, so mine's just chilling there. But there you go. Look, more matching. It's almost like we're a caster duo or something. But anyway,
We haven't casted together once this season.
hey, listen,
are not locked
we're
in. Damn.
we're hopefully about to hit up the casting duo with this week of matches because there's about to be a bunch of matches. In case you're living under a rock, you don't know what's going on. The mid-season tournament for CGL is upon us here. CGL, it's an 8-week regular season, and after week 4, we take a week. We tell all the teams, hey, listen, you got to battle it out. What are they battling it out for exactly? Isn't it just like winner gets like an extra win column, and then you get like extra maps if you don't win?
Yeah. Winner of the tournament gets a full extra win, and I think the loser, the second place tournament of the tournament gets I think it's 3 map wins, if I'm not mistaken, but like nothing added on to the record. It could be 2 map wins. I don't really remember, but definitely first place gets an extra map win. So even for the open divisions, no monetary value to be gained out of this one, but could make it easier to get to that monetary value later in the season.
Okay. Well, yeah, listen, also, it's a great opportunity early on where potentially, we don't get to see the best of the best play until the end of the season. It's like a way to make them play against each other earlier so we can actually be like, oh, hey, these are the good teams.
I can't lie. I'm the type of caster who like doesn't check what the stakes or the rules are. I kind of just like figure that out 2 minutes before I'm about to go live. So I'm learning all of this along with you guys.
How long have you been in CGL? This has been the case every time.
Why would I? Listen, rules are not interesting. If I was interested in the rules, I'd be an admin. I'm interested in the romance of it, the wordplay, the gameplay. So I'm a caster.
Mm-hmm.
There are jokes I could make, but I'm not.
No, go ahead.
You should.
Go ahead, make some
No, I'm
jokes.
good. I'm good.
No, you should.
No.
Say it with your chest.
Mega, move along. Move this along.
Move along. All right. So listen, there's not much else to it. It's pretty much just going to be us going through the brackets. Now, there's going to be an asterisk, right? We are recording this on Sunday night. Technically, it is 7:45 p.m. EST. So all of the EU brackets should be correct. NA, maybe not so much. So if a team is incorrectly in a bracket, I apologize. And I personally blame Headrimmer because I like blaming him. That's pretty much it.
When in
So-
doubt.
With that being said, we're going to start in the EU region, like I said, because those are a little bit more concrete, a little bit more accurate. So if I can do the magical thingy madoohickey, hang on, let me move this over here. And what is our topic? Our topic is not talking about perks. It is talking about the EU Diamond tier bracket. Now, listen, while we don't know everything, we're not the smartest bulbs in the bunch. We can figure things out, because guess what? We have all the teams listed right here. I can pull up like the team sheets, and we can like learn how good these teams are, right? We'll actually just keep the leaderboard separate. Teams. So, coming into this, we have Kira is the number 1 seed, I believe. Yeah, 4-0, has only dropped a single map. Looking very strong, very powerful. If we pull up their teams, their only map loss was to GGTD. I believe is the number 2 seed. Yep.
Yeah.
And they are going up against a 1-3 VA Mystic Coven. And hold up, let's get a little bit more on that record, shall we? Shall.
I'm taking
know,
a guess
it's not
based
so-
off their strength of schedule. They've been the unfortunate team to play the top 3.
Professional. Well, they took Professional 5, and they took a map off of GGTD, and then yeah, they just kind of went up against Kira. So it's literally a week 4 run back for this squad. So let's be real. Does anybody want to defend Mystic Coven to be right now? For this single.
I
run
mean-
bracket?
I probably am gonna say I agree that Kira should win this. But when you think about something like this having just recently happened, this is the most fresh thing in the minds of Mystic Coven. So it could be a scenario where you learn from what you just did 3 days ago. Go back and watch those VODs if you can. Try and see if you can spot any kind of weakness in Kira's gameplay. Obviously, I did not watch that match, so I couldn't tell you how, like Spec and I earlier this afternoon had an undefeated team versus a team that hadn't won a
They
game.
were 9-1 to start things off. The 0-9, and it ended up at least going to a 3-1.
Yeah, and so, it could happen, right? These upsets are possible; they can happen. But just looking at recent results and numbers, I think it's Kira 3-0 again, probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna go basically the same thing here. Kira looks like probably the best team in this tier, only dropping 1 map. But the problem with it only having 6 teams is that Mystic Coven is probably a much better team than what their record is. They just had to play those 3 teams above them at the moment, so they're probably a good team as well. Like you said, they took Professional, I think it was, to 5. I mean, they're basically probably that beating Professional right there away from just playing GGTD in this first round. But I think Kira wins this game.
I mean, honestly, it's really a problem because I'm looking at the EU Diamond tier right now, and there are 5 teams actively competing right now.
Yeah.
So everybody will play everybody, or at least one other team multiple times.
Yeah.
There will only be one team that a specific team only
She
plays
can't actually
once.
see I'm breaking everything. you go.
So Aliens at Large, that name is not wrong, I suppose. We don't know where they're at. Haven't played 2 games. Basically a non-factor in the tier.
Presumably in space, but
Yeah, SCR Academy, first team out. It's safe to assume that Mystic Coven's 1 win came against them, if I'm not mistaken. So it does. It's a little bit claustrophobic. This tier is, but I guess the results are gonna be. I don't know. The results are gonna be tight. I don't think this one is gonna be very good. This first match, it's not gonna be very close. I don't think, but
The win did come
Oh.
against Aliens at Large. You are right.
yeah. So who did Mystic Coven beat?
What's the Coven? They
Aliens at Large,
beat-
probably.
Oh no, they also
SCR,
beat
yeah.
SCR.
Yeah,
SCR.
yeah. Okay. That's what I thought initially, and then you brought up the SCR score, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Mystic Coven getting the win. So head to head map wins. It all makes sense why Mystic Coven is in over SCR. But if we're just looking back a week, I really think Kira's got this.
I mean, and listen, it makes sense. No reason to disagree. Spec. I mean, you didn't technically say anything, but I'm sure you agree.
I have zero reason to change this. I don't believe in upsets. They happen like once, like actually a year in Overwatch. Let's be real here. We have managed to invent the least upsettable game.
I don't
And-
know. Falcons kind of got trounced the other day. I don't
That's not
know.
really an upset. They're just like
Listen, I
they're-
love
they're just, like, bleeding out of their
Falcons are
brains.
Sparkle.
exactly like.
No, they still have 9K. They still have 9K, don't they?
Who even knows?
Do they?
He's
I
usually
don't
getting married
even
or something.
think- I don't
Or
even
no, is
think
that
he's-
Rush?
No, it was 9K because didn't 9K wasn't 9K literally coaching from his wedding, like literally texting them,
What do you think the quality of the coaching is going to be like?
dude. But that's okay. But here's
my
the
guy's
thing.
going through his vows. Like,
Listen,
oh, guys,
okay.
you probably like rap more right side.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay, but regardless, that's like aura as fuck. Like respectfully, to coach from the altar, like there's power behind that.
I
Anyway,
think about your single now.
Okay, so the next game.
yeah. So
Alright.
GGTD versus professional. Now this has happened before. I'm pretty sure. We'll just close
Pretty sure
out
it
of
has. It
this.
was-
Da-da-da-da. Teams. I'm very professional. I have everything ready. Speaking of professional, oh god, they have this logo. I remember. Just a guy in a field.
That's real though.
It's photoshopped. Okay, yeah. But so this team, they actually, so they had a 3-2 versus Mystic Coven, but then their only wins have come from bottom of the barrel. One time punching up, Kira kind of trounced them a little bit. Versus
A little bit.
versus GGTD, who they got beat by Kira in a 3-1. They 3-1 Mystic Coven, and they 3-1 SCR Academy while also getting a bye. It's
So
actually
they haven't played any games.
If I may,
Okay.
GTD took one map against Kira. The other team did not. Go 3-0 GTD.
I don't think
favorite
I think I'd
professional.
go with at least one map off the board. But man, they haven't played and beat anybody.
I'm going with professional here. This is gonna be a 3-2 win for professional.
I'm personally looking forward to, by the way, the NA Masters division because I get to do what I normally do on podcasts and self-glaze myself up to like somewhere I will never actually reach. It's gonna be great.
It's I don't think we're in bracket, are we?
We're not. No.
Yeah,
yeah, so-
exactly.
So why? Listen,
we
if
can
I
talk
if
about
I
that
no, no,
when we
no,
get there.
listen, when
We
we
can talk
get
about
there,
that
when we get there. Okay, but so anyway, so Spectron is saying 3-0 for which team?
Was it GTD?
I was the only one that went. Yeah, I was the only one that went with professional here.
Okay, so we got.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this is a 3-0.
I think it's a 3-2 professional.
3-2 professional.
I just don't trust GGTD's wins.
You don't trust their wins when these are the wins that were gotten by
Yeah,
professional.
I guess you're
both teams
right.
basically
I
have the
guess you're
same
right.
wins.
Both teams are.
Man, at
Here's the thing:
least-
both teams are fraudulent. GGTD, you can at least argue we literally haven't seen them since perks have been enabled.
I don't think you
Okay.
can say either team is fraudulent when there's only 5 teams or 6 teams.
Or maybe that just makes the line thicker.
I don't know. I think this game will be close. I think it'll be a really fun game to watch because, like you guys said, they haven't necessarily played each other yet. They played the top team and they played the only other team in the playoffs here, and kind of had the same results against them. I think this will be a really fun game to watch.
I think this could go the distance on 5. But so we have one professional. Spec, which way were you leaning?
What? I said GTD.
All right, Fletch, which way?
I'm gonna go with professional.
Professional. Okay. Well, that sucks because I was going to go GG, so we're technically tied. But guess what? Host privilege. I'm more important. We're going to assume GG.
I also am more important.
So,
This is the guy who backs out every week.
Regardless,
I'm so important.
Regardless of which team makes it through here, do you think either team takes a map off of Kira?
No.
I'm not saying
No.
a win,
Maybe
a
one.
map.
Maybe one.
Maybe one because
Wait, is it first of 4?
Yeah, in finals?
Yeah,
No,
in that case,
no.
First
Mid-season's
three, so-
mid-season's still
Yeah.
only first of 3.
Okay, in that case, no.
I'll say there's a map. I'll say Kira drops a map here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's the same thing. GGTD, they did what they had to do. They took a map, right? So I don't
Yeah.
see why it couldn't happen again.
Okay, yeah.
No.
I mean, we're all pretty much in consensus. There might be a map of Kira. Kira, congrats. You have our stamp of approval. You're totally not going to lose this now because of that. Smile.
That's how it works, unfortunately. If you get prided, you kind of...
Anyway, I'm now magically setting things up behind the scenes for our next bracket, and while I do that, somebody should vamp.
Hi, Spec. Hi, Dex. How y'all feeling? What are we doing?
Kind of
Feeling
sleepy, I
good.
can't lie.
I'm looking at what this next bracket is going to be and
It's EU
trying to
Masters.
figure out.
If you
Yeah,
want
but
to
is it-
start looking ahead.
Is it top 4 or top 6?
Top 4. It's either top 4s or top 8s. And for mid-season.
Top 6 isn't
I
diabolical
hope it's not.
bracket.
Like, here's the thing. This is a weird division because you have 2 teams that are undefeated, 4 teams that have 1 loss, and then the other 3 teams have yet to win a game.
Yeah, happens.
So it's a very competitive division. I'll give it that. Like, it's going to be really, really fun to watch it.
I mean, me and Fletch were casting one of the teams here today. I thought EMPR Gallica looked very shaky, to be honest.
For
I
another.
thought that.
I agree.
I mean, yeah, they're 4-0, but
Yeah,
like
but they
these maps were like slogs. They were able to dumpster when they were in functional positions, but anytime they even slightly punished, then they had no idea how to react. Their map control was mediocre, especially for a Masters team, and their comps were passable. I think they could absolutely get bullied by any of the other teams who make it in.
I mean, they came very, very close to losing to a team who hadn't several maps to a team who hadn't won a single one going into that game. So
In the
they
end, they won because
definitely have
they-
some
they-
stuff to work on.
In the end, they won because they went Queen Juno, and with Queen Juno, you can just rotate win cons. It's kind of brain dead. Unfortunately, I feel like a team like Dream Eaters will be able to exploit that very likely. So I think this is a bracket that could have a lot of upsets. But then the teams who made it into the top 4, then I don't know. I feel like it's probably Dream Eaters tier break everybody else. Is kind of how I'm thinking about this.
Interesting that you think it's that hard of a tier break.
I don't think it's a super hard tier break, but I think it's there.
I mean, you could just look at all the stats here. So far, EMPR has played the second easiest schedule so far.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys might be right that 4-0 is a little out there, but you do have to give them credit for at least getting 4-0.
Well, no, I think that they're definitely one of the top threats in this, division. But right now, here's the thing is that this could be like a sample size issue. Like we've had one game with EMPR, me and Spec, and what we saw wasn't spectacular. And they could just lock it in next game and be just fine. But if they go into the tournament and they play like they did today against Dragon's Gravity, I don't see them beating Dream Eaters, or at least consistently beating Dream Eaters.
I don't see why they wouldn't consistently play like that. Like the patch is the same. It's like a week. You realistically remember this is like EU Masters tier. These guys are, with all due respect, probably not vodding like every single week. Most they've watched it once and thought we should probably not do whatever. and I don't think that's enough. I think they will perform about it the same way, and I think they will at some point at least, even if it's just for a map, be exploited.
All right. Well, yeah. So this is the sort of the picture that they have been talking about here, just so you at home can see what we're on about. A lot of 3-1 teams in this bracket. You have a lot of teams that have like kind of just been getting their wins potentially off these bottom 3 squads. And then everybody else being able to take map wins off each other. You have 2 4-0s at the top, like y'all were talking about, Dream Eaters versus and Emperor, or EMPR, whatever they want to abbreviate that as. But overall, yeah, like y'all were saying, this could be a very interesting bracket. Now, to break it down to the matches, it would be Dream Eaters versus SCR Esports first. Taking a look at Dream Eaters, they have gone up against Anomaly, the VA Cat Plague, Damage Inc. Mythic. Wait, actually, all 3 bottom 3 teams, and then Cat Plague. So not fraudulent, but maybe.
I think EU
But the
Masters
problem is that
Go ahead.
EMPR, I think, is in a similar boat.
Well, we're not talking the EMPR yet. We're on this match here.
Yeah.
Where SCR, they lost to EMPR, and then they got a win at the hands of Coconuts
Wait,
and
this
Victory.
Chinese Dinos team? Wait, no, I gotta back these guys. Yeah, so Chinese Dinos and Quayo are both uni players, so I actually know about these guys, and they actually have arms for the most part. Wait, 1 second, I have something that you need to put on the stream expediently. Okay,
Yeah, go
very
ahead.
important to me.
Well, he pulls that up.
Expeditiously, Megalas.
Well, he pulls it up. EU Masters is gonna be a really fun one to watch because, like you just pulled up there with Dream Eaters, they played the bottom 3, only played 1 other team, went to distance there. Those are the only 2 map losses. Like, if you want to have a tournament or a bracket that's gonna have upsets, it's gonna be this one, just because of how shaky that I feel like we all are on those top 2 undefeated teams, and how strong VA, Cat Plague, and SCR are, at least when you look at their losses.
And I'd like to give a shout out to Dragon's Gravity for having not only Dragon's Gravity and Dragon's Aura are the only teams in this tier with an opponent or a strength of schedule over 300. 336 for Gravity, 307 for Dragon's Aura. So
I mean,
they've
yeah,
got
the clip is in it's in
Yeah,
Right
see,
Radio Live, of course.
Oh yeah,
the
those,
clip is
I'll say
always
with
been
this,
good.
well, Quayo and Chinese Dinos are pretty good. Starty and Emiro were playing last year, as well in CGL, are pretty good as well. So I do think this is just on paper the best team, with the sole exception of
This isn't gonna work
this.
the way I want it to because of the way I set up the window capture. Well, now you're just seeing everything
Oh,
on my desktop.
Megalas backgrounds.
You know, looking
Guys,
more at the standings right now, I feel bad
Oh,
for
this is
Anomaly.
stuff. But anyway, hold on. Let's see
Um,
what this is. We'll just look at it small.
Bye, Chinese Dinos.
Oh, you're just bumping booping them off the map here.
The pre-notes, yeah.
I mean,
That
I feel
was
like that
snaps.
was going off the map anyway.
Yeah, they were going off the map anyway. It just helped them.
Nah.
Just
I'm
help
that
them
guy.
find their way.
Anyhow, that's our goat right there.
Okay,
That's
so
your
let's make
go.
predictions.
Yeah. So predictions of this Dream Eaters versus SCR match. What are we thinking? What's the vibe?
Well,
Let's start
3-1.
with Okay, so Spec. Who's 3-1? Who's the 3-1 for?
Dream Eaters 3, SCR 1.
Okay. Fletch, what are you thinking?
I think Dream Eaters 3-1.
Dex.
I think Dream Eaters 3-2. I think this is a game that they actually will show us a lot about what kind of team this is, considering, like you said, they've won 3 of their games against those teams who have yet to win a series, and hell, those 3 teams have 2 map wins combined.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the contrarian. I want this on record, even though I'm not gonna flip it and say that SCR wins this, but I will go with the majority, and we will lock in a Dream Eater victory here. And now,
I mean, I could, like I said, this bracket could be all upsets, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Now, I think that this game is a lot more interesting to speculate about because EMPR has, played only 3 matches, as you Lucia here had a bye in week 2. Had a relatively shaky performance earlier today. Kind of jumped all over the place when it came to compositions. They weren't bad, but the decision making, the pathing, the engagements, they were all like off. It felt like by a couple of steps.
Okay.
So it wouldn't surprise me if VA Cat Plague came into this match, with that extra step advantage. But it also wouldn't surprise me if EMPR picked up that step as well.
Now, because you and Spectre were both casting that game, like you were saying, as somebody who simply witnessed that game from the sidelines, EMPR looked like they were maybe having a little bit of fun, is what I'm gonna say. There were some times where there was some silliness. But again, maybe y'all have the right read, and maybe they actually were just sort of floundering against an opponent they should not have. But
I don't think many teams go full meta comp and then lose Flashpoint and then just like fun, Like they were on like Soj, Echo, Malga, Judo Break, and they kind of got.
They didn't start that
Shemex.
though, did they?
They did start
Yes,
on
did.
Surabasa.
They walked out, yes, on Surabasa.
And they lose 2 fights and go Queen and win because Queen comp. Like I don't know. Like I said, I think they did have like a certain amount of fun, especially on like map 2 where they kind of managed to squeak out a win. But map 3, there was no real goofiness. They kind of just got like kind of schmixed. Like I mentioned, I think at least on stream I mentioned the Kiri player. I forget their name, but was kind of just dying on cooldown. In a Kiri Lucia backline, when you have your own flex, that shouldn't really be happening. But it ends up happening anyway. I thought they absolutely looked like they could punch, they could do like perform at a really high level, but also they just wouldn't consistently. I thought the double flex was a huge weakness for them. I thought their opponents, if their opponents were capable or much more comfortable on like hit scan setups, then they probably would have won. But it didn't end up happening. It seemed like a mechanical difference to me.
So what is going to be the overall consensus here then, going one at a time for EMPR versus VA Cat Plague?
Dex?
I'm gonna go Cat Plague. I think they're the better team, even though their 3 wins that came against the Bomb 3 as well. I just think overall they're just the better team.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've got similar resumes, but Cat Plague had such a good performance against Dream Eaters that I think that they're probably the better team here. Having said that, though, I do think it's going to be close, 3-1, 3-2, something like that. I don't think it'll be a clean sweep where Cat Plague knocks them out of the park. Just because I can see, I saw moments out of Galactica that did look like they were a very strong team in the tier. But unless they get a little more consistent with those moments, I think that Cat Plague has probably got it.
Beck, what are you thinking?
I feel like a 3-2 Cat Plague.
This is crazy because I'm like slightly disagreeing. Like I truly think EMPR. I think y'all got the wrong vibe of them today, but you know what? Again, I am a woman of the people. Whatever y'all
Listen,
say.
I've seen trolling. I don't think today was trolling.
Yeah, as a master of trolling myself, as somebody who likes to jump into bull mines when I get bored, I don't know. I don't think that's trolling.
Okay, so now you've set up a rematch here. Dream Eaters versus VA Cat Plague. Last time it went the distance 3-2. Dream Eaters takes it out. That was week number 3. So again, you could argue this is pre-perks. So who knows if that changes anything really? But what are our thoughts here?
I still think
I don't
Dream
know.
Eaters takes it.
Yeah.
But I still think it's going to be close. I don't like the perks are going to change the game a little bit, but I don't think so drastically that Cat Plague will come in and take over. I think that they can. Like if you win 2 maps against a team, you know that you're already pretty close to winning there. A couple of things go different. You take that 3rd map and you win yourself. So things have changed since they played a couple of weeks ago, but I still think that at least my thoughts about Dream Eaters have them as the best team in this tier, and Cat Plague is just a couple of steps behind them. So I think a 3-2 for Dream Eaters.
What are your thoughts, man?
I think Cat Plague takes this one. I think it's going to be the reverse of last time. I think it's going to go the distance. I think Cat Plague played them incredibly close last time. I think Dream Eaters got the edge, and I think this time, though, they're going to be able to learn what they did wrong, especially with perks. Like you guys said, it'll probably come down to a couple of hero bands, specific hero bands, and some specific maps.
Okay. So, for the sake of majority, I will leave this as Dream Eaters right here. But listen, for my personal money, I think EMPR is going to win it all. So when they do, but like I'm including this for when they do because then I get to look smart. Also, I've realized that it's been like 30 minutes and we've only gone through two brackets, so I'm not doing this challenge stuff anymore. We're just gonna visualize it mentally. Everyone, good job. We're smart. We can do this. Moving on to EUGM, getting a look at the leaderboard here, and then we can pull up teams as we need to. So Bliss Marauders currently has dropped 3 maps, so it's not like a completely flawless run like you normally see from the 4-0 teams. Embrace 3-1 along with EMC. Can anyone know how to say that name with EMC? Kanidos? Okay, I could not for the life of I casted the game the other day. I felt so bad, could not figure it out for the life of me. And then DYS Fracture at 2-2. Shenzhen Strikers, didn't they like win this tier last
They
time?
won Masters.
No, they won Masters,
Yeah.
and so they won.
Yeah.
I forgot. I should.
They
change
won
the topic.
Masters.
Also, interestingly, the top 4 all have the same exact strength of schedule, but I guess similar strength of schedules is going to happen when there's only 6 teams.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but so who did they play? Let's find out. Because you have Bliss Marauders.
We need to get on Headrammer about making it possible to click on a team from the leaderboard.
For real.
Yeah, that would be actually very lovely. And then with EMC.
I'm pretty sure my website is slow as well because of the ping across the ocean. Can you get like an easy server, please?
And DYS. I don't think that's ever happening. I don't think you're getting it easy. So, Bliss Marauders. Bliss Marauders, they got to beat up their Bliss sister team. They got to beat up Shenzhen, and then they went 3-2 against Embrace and 3-1 against Kinidos. Or Kinido, whatever. That team. These guys, they got to beat up on Shenzhen 3-2, beat up on the Bliss sister team, and 3-0'd DYS Fracture. So interesting little setup there. Embrace is currently also on that 3-0. They beat up a lot of these people are beating up Bliss and they're beating up Shenzhen with different levels of success against Shenzhen, and beat DYS 3-0 as well for a close series with Bliss Marauders. And then finally, these guys, they lost to EMC, they lost to Embrace, but they were able to again beat up on Shenzhen and Bliss. Noticing a trend.
Okay.
Common theme.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that Bliss is justifiably the best team in the tier right now.
Yep.
Mathematically. I don't know why you're making that face, Dex. I think it's pretty obvious. Bliss beat Embrace. Everybody has beaten Shenzhen and Excelsior. So I mean, even if it was close, Bliss Marauders, they won that game. So I mean, I don't think it's insane to say that pound for pound they are the best team in this bracket right now. You know, even if you just want to look at the numbers, that's true. So I think that I've got them as the favorite right now, just because they've beaten everybody else that everybody else has beaten, plus Embrace, which is the 2 seed. So.
I think Embrace wins this entire tier.
Embrace wins the whole tier. Okay, let them
This tournament, this mid-season.
Mid-season.
What
Okay.
has given you this?
Mid-season.
Yeah.
What is Embrace doing here? What changed? What's the power?
I mean, I without watching the game against Marauders and just looking at the scoreline here, you can see that every single map was incredibly close. on this one here. Like coin flip, it's what I like to call maps where coin flip fights. If one fight goes the other way, probably the other team wins.
Can't scroll down
You
any
have
farther, but
3 maps here that ended basically on the final point.
if I
So
shrink it maybe.
you flip fight here or there, it's probably Embrace winning this series.
Yeah, so close series. So you think that just gives them the edge, and that Embrace is going to be ready to do it?
Yeah, I think it gives them the edge a little bit here.
Yeah, but
I
I'm
I
curious
like-
how it gives them an edge.
because it was played. I'm just saying this. It was played incredibly close. You're asking for my opinion on why I'm picking this team. I'm thinking that Embrace is going to want a little bit of revenge here,
Sure.
and I think why not do it in midseason? You're probably going to play him at some point down the line again. You want to get a little bit more
Okay.
experience here. You played him really close the first time. You probably know what you did wrong the first time, and you have been probably working since week 3 with the addition of perks in week 4 on how you could fix that.
My only qualm about that is, do you not believe that Bliss Marauders have done the same thing? Because that game obviously was riddled full of Listen, I'm not saying you're wrong.
Mm.
I think that this matchup could be incredibly close between them. Obviously, they're not playing first, so it wouldn't factor into the predictions. I do think that Embrace and Bliss Marauders are the 2 best teams right now. Because if I'm not mistaken, the 3rd team in Kanidos went 3-2 with Shenzhen. And that is not a quality win in any world of imagination. So I just am sitting here looking at past results, overall results. I think that right now Bliss is my number 1, but I can definitely see like why you would think about Embrace. Also, just shouts out to that Embrace logo. That's a gorgeous logo.
What I wanted to
Is that-
say is that I think there's
is
an
that the
argument
Alga?
in between.
It's Lugia.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say there's an argument for 2nd and 3rd place in my opinion between EMC Kanidos and Embrace. I think Kanidos have they've been playing together for actual ages. I think it's a relatively good patch for most of their hero pools. Like especially Snowflake is a very threatening Mei. Punk Air can actually hit stuff and hit scan occasionally. It's pretty nice.
Wait,
I
which team?
still occasionally EMC Kanidos.
Snowflake.
It's a Snizinka.
Oh, okay.
It's pronounced Snowflake. Yeah. I do occasionally throw various ranked games if the matchmaker decides to put us together. So sorry about that. But yeah, I reckon they get 2nd.
But you think that Bliss Marauders is getting that 1st place overall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of Bliss, but Duck's willing to be able to back the Embrace with actually Spectrum believing that Embrace would fall further to 3rd. No belief in DYS. No. None at all.
I
Now,
think
bold prediction that I want to say before we move on to the next tier.
Mm.
I think that regardless of midseason, I think Shenzhen hits the comeback and wins this whole thing.
I mean, they did it before. Why
They've
not?
done it
right?
before. Listen, Shenzhen, don't count them out. This 0-4 means nothing to them. They're powerful. But unless anyone has something to say, we could just move right along to open.
Nothing else witty.
We have a lot of fun in open tier.
A lot of fun in open. If I'm not mistaken, this will be our first 8-team bracket.
I also do want to bring up that for both of our open tiers, the returning open tiers, neither of the console champions are returning in Smelvin and Shortbus. So I'm not entirely sure about the returning PC champions, but
Yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Sorry, I took a gander at EU Open. We'll get to that later.
Well, no, EU opens right now.
Oh, now?
Right now.
Oh,
Right
great.
now.
Okay, so there are two teams right now. That's our let's see. I'm bad at this. I'm
Well,
bad at
here,
the
hang on,
website.
hang on. Before
Yeah,
you
okay,
set that up, I just want to point out what teams we're going to be talking about for assuming who's in bracket.
Well, okay, so I'm just gonna say firstly, out of the undefeated teams, Bum FC will actually airstrike Moths out of the water. That game will be kind of like a slacking, for lack of a better phrase.
Mhm. Okay.
Bum FC have Golden Pants, who's like cracked and jacked masters ball one trick, and considering how we have actual bans in this tournament, then you can't just do what you do in expert division and just like chain ban against him. He's going to do tricks on it. Also, Zero's really good. Who's the other player they have? Alpha, was it?
Swag demon.
Swag.
Sorry, one second.
Oh, here,
Evil
Yeah,
Ace.
Jacob is good. Evil is good. I don't know. I don't see a universe where Moth beat them at least.
Where are they?
They're the ones with the silly looking one.
The silly looking one, as we like to say.
Yeah.
But we got Swag Demon, Golden Pants, like you were saying. You know, getting a little bit more of an in-depth look never hurts nobody. They did get a bye somehow, despite there being like 19 teams. That's interesting.
Right.
They have not dropped the map. Looking pretty dominant, like you were saying. Now, like I was saying before, you decided to go off on your we'll call it a Glock spree of just absolutely fangirling.
I'm sorry, I have opinions.
To clarify who is in this, because it might be a little confusing with how many teams are here and the groups and stuff like that. It'll be the top 4 from each group, which I don't actually think is EMC Chimera. I think Dragon's Vanguard. Oh well, no, the map diff technically.
I'm curious. I'm curious
Map
if it,
diff.
if it just goes by.
It'll be map diff actually, so it will be EMC Chimera. I'm a liar. But Bum FC, Moths, Falcon and Paul, EMC Chimera from Group 1, and then Group 2 will bring in Kronos, 0907, Strix Esports, and Ellen
Kissy.
Eclipse? Okay.
Yeah.
Not sure. Now, going to be so real, I don't want to bully them, but Ellen Eclipse, I don't think does anything against any other team. Looking at standings
No.
purely, I think that they simply lucked in to be here because Group 2 does not look to be as good as Group 1.
Actually, no. Okay, looking now, Fista, Nevs, Little Plume, Neophyte, Flats. Like, that's a good team.
A good team?
It's not a fantastic team, but it's a good team. It's a good team. Nevs is strong. Neophyte, I can't really hate because I'm kind of mates with him. Little Plume is, I would argue, probably the weakest player in this roster. Fista and Flats can shoot back at least. They're a decent team. But, like, they will consistently lose to teams like 0907 or like a Bum FC, stuff like that.
Am I blind? Where are they?
To be honest with you, if I'm looking at the teams right now, just going off of name and mathematically, I would put 0907 at the top of this tournament.
I probably would
Or
not.
at least, at the very least, close.
0907 are like good.
I
But,
think I think saying top was the wrong thing for me to say
Yeah.
because I do think that there are a lot of really good teams in here, but I think 0907 needs to be talked about. They still haven't dropped a map yet.
I mean, there's 3 teams in this tier that have yet to drop a map.
I mean, yeah, but they've played like firstly 0907. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but they beat Twisted Minds Orchard. Okay, they got
Okay,
bye,
2-2.
Okay, they beat Special Forces. Okay, and they beat Eclipse. Like these aren't like huge wins.
Well, neither are any of Cronus's, for that matter.
Who's on Cronus?
I mean, I guess Cronus has beaten the first. I guess I would say that I put more
Cronus,
stock in
Unsu
Cronus's
Karama,
wins.
Zoom, Depsy, John C. Effort. Yeah, this is a functional team.
I would say that I'd put more stock in the wins of Cronus right now because
Yep,
they've
that's
beaten the Flock, Kalmarne, Garnet, and I think Twisted Minds Orchid.
Yeah.
It's on screen right now for you.
Well, I was looking at my screen.
I'm trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
No, we don't want your help.
I would
This is
put
cool.
I'd put more stock in those wins because they have not dropped a map, and those are for teams that are a lot of them are. A couple of them are 2-2. One's 1-3. The last is probably 0-4. I don't know if they've played a game in a while. Garnet is at 0-3. Tarnish is at 0-1. So
They probably
do with that info what you will. I do think Cronus is, probably the top of this tier, just going off of quality of wins. Can we get a look at Moths?
Moths, in my opinion, are not that good. They're an expert team. They are like R4 and 0. But I think like compared to the other teams, they will lose to like an 0907. They'll lose to Golden Pants. They'll probably lose to.
Yeah, but counter argument.
Golden
look at
Pants, the guy.
Look at this.
Okay, small addendum. If they play Zoro Hitori, then they'll start winning. But Zoro Hitori shouldn't start for this team. If they play like Ramsu, Grimlock, Sunset, Calder, Juno, Jazzy, any of that kind of, I think they will just lose. I think Zoro's really good. I think Hitori's quite good. But other than that,
Other bye situation. 3-0 against Vanessa's fans. 3-1 against Dragon's Vanguard and BPC.
That is a decent win. The Dragon's Vanguard win.
I was gonna say
Dragon's Vanguard 3-1.
Yeah, Dragon's Vanguard. They are. They're just sitting right on
First
the outside.
team out.
Yeah, first team
Yeah.
out. I don't know. Like looking at it overall, like truth be told, like Group 1 just does look like a much more competitive group than Group 2. And so comboing them is going to be really, really interesting. So we've had, like, we've talked about these rosters, we've looked at it. Like, who is the definitive, who's going to win this bracket, starting with Debs?
Why'd you start with me?
Because you hadn't said
I-
anything.
I know, because I was looking up stuff. Because Friends of Paul was an interesting team, in my opinion, because toughest strength of schedule in that Group 1 so far. Only dropped one, but their one loss was to Dragon's Vanguard, who sits right outside, and the other three wins.
I cast that game.
Yeah, and their other three
That was-
wins are against Chimera, Vortex, and Shadow Masters teams, who are all. I mean, Chimera's in the playoffs, but the other two are not in at all. I think it's gonna be 0907 and Moths, if that makes sense bracket wise, to be in the final, and I think 0907 will win it. I'm gonna say, just because of a little bit of bias here, because 0907 has been in CGL in the past, so I have been able to cast them and see them a little bit more than these other teams. But it would not surprise me if Moths or Bomb FC are able to come in and win this. Cronus is the one where I'm scratching my head a little bit. I could see him making a run. I could see him winning, but I don't know if they truly have it all here just yet.
I think, if I may, then the good teams to my eyes are like Falcons of Pool, 0907, Bum FC, Cronus, Elena Eclipse, and Moths. Kind of in something resembling that order. I think the best teams are probably... Listen, Falcons of Pool are a weird one. Because there are two players who qualified to Masters in this tournament, which are Yukino and Nelix. I know Yukino actually isn't in Masters skill issue. Oh, three players with Golden Pants. But I think if those two play, then they're a really good team. However, they don't play all the time, and they also don't care about this tournament. So they are likely to not put in that much effort. I think Bum FC, Golden Pants, kind of probably just Golden Pants all over everybody else. Realistically, it's probably who I would have to say is like the number one on 07, probably like second, maybe like Elena Eclipse third, Cronus fourth, Moss fifth, Falcons of Pool sixth. If they
Elena Eclipse
decide to take it
third.
serious as I expect.
Elena Eclipse third. That's a take. That's certainly a take.
Elena Eclipse a good team.
They're 2-2.
Yeah, they're a good team.
And why have they lost?
Dude,
They're good.
Why they lost?
They've had the toughest.
They lost
strength-
against
the toughest schedule
0907.
so far.
Like fair
Yeah.
enough.
0907 and Cal
Third best
Marine.
team in the league.
You
Also,
gave Cal
also,
Marine
like
the whole
guys,
win.
we just point out as well that if we're talking about people who've played in CGL before, Elena Eclipse also have. They were just playing under Everfrost.
Yeah.
Now, far from it, be it from me to leak exactly why they left.
Oh, they
org.
forfeited. That's what
But-
happened here.
Even better then. Like, they are a strong team and they can do lots of damage.
Okay.
Hmm.
So overall, you've listed a lot of team names. So just to clarify, like who is the number one? Who is winning it? That's all I need from you, Spec.
Bum FC.
Bum FC. All right. Fletch, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm gonna go dark horse. I'm picking Falcons.
Falcons of Paul.
I like Zombie a lot.
Oh, Zombie's good. So is who's the White Ronin? It's good as well.
I'm not gonna lie. This tier is probably gonna be the most like I feel like for mid-season matches, as long as teams don't just be like I don't care about mid-season, which is an unironic possibility. I think that this could be very, very interesting. I don't know who I'd honestly go with. I think I might just, be like simple and agree with y'all and saying your picks are just the good picks. And I think watching this bracket's going to be fun over the course of the week. That's just the name of the game there. But listen, that's all EU, right? Everything you've heard from Spectron, he's about to shut up by like 75% because he doesn't know any.
Yeah.
The NA region, not a clue. Not a clue of what's
NA is
happening.
fake news.
Yeah, he's not gonna shut up. He's just gonna ridicule it even more.
Gonna ridicule it. Speaking of, things that potentially can be ridiculous, you have the NA Diamond tier, which I believe will be an 8-team bracket because they have 14 participating. It's all one group though. So looking at it from top down for the top 8, which again, this could potentially move if there are matches tonight. I don't think.
Wow.
Actually, this won't move at all because everybody's played all their games. Lovely. So you have Lunar Eclipse, ME Abyssal, and Death Blossom, all who have not dropped a map yet. They are 12-0, flawless right now. Solar Eclipse could potentially join them in the 4-0 club, not the undefeated club, as they have a match, I believe, tonight. But they are going to be pretty safely locked in this, maybe not the 4 seed, but they're locked in for the bracket, should we say. And then Phantoms, Jade Eagles, Cuddle Puddle, and Space Train will be rounding out those other 4 slots. Any knowledge, any insight from anyone?
Go Jade Eagles. Go Mean Green.
Go JD.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Solar Eclipse should win tonight.
Yeah, probably.
Against Bowling Green. But the 1 map loss will still put them at 4th.
Which, I mean, so 4 seed puts them against 5th seed, aka Phantom. So.
I think I've cast Death Blossom v Emerald Eagles, and that's the only game I've cast in this division.
I was gonna say, didn't we do this the other day? Expect
We did, yeah.
Yeah, because Death Blossoms looked very, very strong. Like they looked like domination to the point of insane clouds.
Was this did JML just like come up with the dumbest first death ever from Midtown, and that was the only time they looked like stressed?
Yes,
Yeah,
that was the
cool.
series. Like the occasional feeding does come out from this team, but otherwise this team looked incredibly
for
strong.
Diamonds here, occasional feeding is very good.
But I mean, you can even call it occasional. It was just once, and then there was that annihilation that had us mind boggled.
Yeah, it was questionable.
But overall, wasn't BGSU wasn't they like running this tier last time?
No.
Bowling Green? No, as far as
No,
I
they
remember,
were
it was
like-
Bowling Green's first time in CGL.
BGSU?
No, they played last season, but they were very average.
I swear I thought they were like good this year.
No,
Oh, both-
I
they
think
both
just
have-
because they
Guys,
just
look
have
at
a
how strong this
school's name
host.
attached.
Bowling Green's also had the unfortunate thing to go up against basically every team that's currently in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
Like, they've gone up against Death Blossom, Cuddle Puddle, Jade Eagles, and they're going up against Solar Eclipse tonight. I think this Bowling Green team is going to be probably better than their 0-4 record. They just had the very unfortunate thing to go up against 4 playoff teams, and 3 of them being the undefeated, or 2 of them being the undefeated ones.
And an unfortunate thing to add on to that is that it's not a one-off anymore,
Yeah.
right? It's not a one-off loss, so like it's pretty definitive that they're a tier below these other 4-0 teams. Even if they had a chance to make the mid-season tournament, which it's not happening, not a chance in hell. They could maybe squeak into the postseason if they start picking up some wins, but it's gonna be rough. This is a bad start for BGSU, but that's not why we're here.
Yeah.
Talk about the playoffs.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's ask this question. Do any of the 1-loss teams in Space Train, who's 2-2, but they will make playoffs, do they have a chance to upset any of those 4 teams above them?
Well, I was gonna say, wasn't Space Train the one last year where, like, they didn't do a lot in playoffs, but they got like added because of the technicality with what happened, and they kind of
Yes.
and they just got to
It was
come
either-
in and have fun.
Either that or
We're
they
in
were called
NA. I
Space
didn't
Train
change it.
Express back.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is the same team. Yeah.
Which, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken, I think
space-
this team has a father and son playing together. I think that was like a lore tidbit from
That's
last
pretty cool.
season.
I don't think they do anymore because I only recognize one of these players.
the dad's
so
gone and retired. No way.
yeah, I guess so.
Counts
Or
for
maybe it's the
1K.
kid. I can't remember. I can't remember which one is which.
But regardless, go right back to Vex's question. Just because I figured that was fun about Space Train. Are any of these teams punching up, or are we looking at just these undefeated juggernauts have to slam into each other?
I think it's probably the latter. There is definitely a chance, right? A lot of this tier is fairly competitive. So at the very least, one or two of these games could be close. I do think though that after the first round, it'll probably be, you know, 3 out of the 4 of those teams are Lunar Eclipse, Abyssal, and Death Blossom. Just
Well,
because
Solar
they
Eclipse
have,
also is undefeated, or should be.
yeah, but they haven't played tonight, so I didn't add them to that just because I want to wait to see. But that's why I said 3 out of the 4. I don't know who all is gonna make that final 4, but ultimately, I do think it's going to be the 3 of those teams at the very least, possibly Solar Eclipse based on what happens tonight. But yeah, this is a very hard tier to rank because all of these teams are playing the same teams as each other because it is one group. So the fact that all 4 of them have separately gone 12-0 is definitely a very, very interesting. I think this tier gets really, really fun at the top 4.
Well, Solar Eclipse won't be 12-0. They'll at best be 11-1. But I think Solar Eclipse actually wins this tier.
Well, it would
Wins
still be 12.
Wins midseason.
But yeah.
I think Solar Eclipse wins this tier. I mean, wins this midseason. Wins the
Really,
midseason.
you think it's Solar Eclipse?
Yeah. I think they've just gone up against a couple tougher teams. I think it will help them out a little bit more here. Just throughout this entire run.
Yeah, I think I just disagree.
Hey, that's fair. That's why we're here.
Right, yeah. Right now, I think just, and I don't think I could give you like my definitive pick right now, just because it's.
Oh, this
so
is the
ridiculously
rename. This is
close.
renamed Vert team.
This is Queen of Diamonds.
This is Queen of Diamonds who won last time.
Okay, so maybe I guess, but this is definitely gonna be. This is interesting. I don't know. That's my answer. Is I do not know.
Well, I'm putting my money on Solar Eclipse. Like
I
the
think
only
that's
other
fair.
team,
They've got
the only
experience.
team I would, the only team I would say like has, I think, wouldn't surprise me if they won would be Abyssal. That's it.
Bissell.
Emmy a bit.
Emmy Bissell.
Emmy, yeah, that one.
To be honest with you, I think any of those top 4 teams has a shot.
Well, yeah.
I firmly believe that it is.
Oh, this
one
is
quarter.
this is a Calling All Heroes core. I know these people.
Yeah, like I think honestly probably the 2 best teams in this tier will be at the end of the day will be Abyssal and Solar Eclipse. Lunar Eclipse and Death Blossom. I think they're close. They are very close. But I think we're going to learn a lot about these top 4 teams in midseason because they're actually going to be going up against each other, hopefully at some point. Not saying that Phantoms, Jade Eagles, Cuddle Puddles, or Space Train are going to lose, but if we expect it to be the top 4 that move on to that second round, the semifinals, I think you'll have Lunar Eclipse and Death Blossom X, and it'll be Emmy, Vessel, and Solar Eclipse in the grand finals.
And you know what? For what it's worth, Spec, I live in Texas, and the load times are still a little slow.
Yeah, no, the server is poo-poo. One thing I will say now, knowing that I know and have played against some of these players, I don't want to smack talk. That's not nice. But Zach is an amazing tank. If you tilt Zach, however, the amazing tank stops being amazing very quickly. So it'll be interesting to see if they start losing, if they get a map loss, it'll be interesting to see how this team handles it, is what I want to say. But so in terms of overall predictions, we have Dextron Predding Solar Eclipse. Fletch, who do you think out of this whole tier is taking midseason? It's a hard race to call, as we've said.
I'm gonna say Death Blossom.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Spectrum, what are you thinking?
I got nothing to say.
You got
Just
nothing?
pick a team.
Just
Pick a team.
listen. Death Blossom looked good the other day. Come on, you were.
Yeah,
you
okay,
were
go to Death Blossom. Go to Death Blossom.
There you
go to
go.
Death Blossom.
As much as I just trash talked, I mean, Mott's on this team. I gotta support Mott immediately. So, ME Abyssal, you're winning this. I believe in you. Believe in you for NA Diamond. Now, NA Masters. Let's look at what teams maybe didn't qualify for. Is this a top 8 or I think this is a top 4?
It's top 4. It's top
This is
4.
top 4.
Only
The
top
only
4.
other tournament is NA Open that has top 8.
Change
yeah, only
this
3.
to Master. Let me actually remember to change it this time. Masters. So, you know, we have all these teams at the top, but, you know, let's look what's happening down here. Anything to say, Spectrum?
Listen, okay, this is like some like Decay and Washington Justice type shit. I am Decay in this example, by the way.
Dog,
Get
listen.
me in the lineup. We win every game.
No, get me in the lineup. You let me back in.
Hey,
It's
at this
on
point,
banned.
it's an open invite to the team. Any production member, if they want to join up and they're not better than Masters, they're on the team.
Yeah.
Mm.
But anyway, we can laugh at how this. Listen, unironically, I think we can turn this around. I think look at how many 2-2
Yeah.
teams there are. We turn this around as long as I can
Yeah,
get
for
back
real.
in. But we'll see.
Mm.
That being said,
I think we turned this around. The longer Mega stays banned for. Thoughts?
bitch, I am the
Okay.
second best member on that team. Anyway, let's look at the actual top 4. Who's actually earned their spots here? We have Sort of Skilled, who has not dropped a map. Low Ground Main, who has dropped a single map, but still 4-0. Shoebill Nation, the only 3-1 team, with 6 map losses, so it's not been a clean path. And then Celestial Knights ended up just kind of edging everybody else out, having slightly better map depth.
They ended up doing what?
What?
All right, so
Okay.
Fletch is stupid. Anyway,
I have the same thought. I'm gonna back you up here, Fudge.
what are we thinking? Any thoughts? Does anyone cast in this tier maybe knows anything about these 4 squads?
No.
I mean, Mega, me and you have at least played against some of these teams. Logo, I mean, I did cast them in their 3-0 victory
Wait,
over
did we play some of these teams
Platypus.
already?
We
yeah, you played Sword of Skilled.
We played Sword of Skill, and we got. I wasn't there for that one, but I know we got wiped because you guys.
I was getting my ones, and then we
Yeah,
started.
you
We
got-
started talking about grippers. It was great.
Yeah, you guys left. The
Oh wait, no,
voice
I
call,
wasn't
like,
here. I wasn't here
immediately.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because this was when I was still in rehearsals. Okay.
But low ground main cast them against Vengeful Platypus. They looked very, very strong in that one there. But I think Sword of Skilled is probably the class of this tier.
At the end of the day, Sword Skill to have a higher strength of the schedule, and I've also got a better map record. So
Yeah, Shoebill Nation though. I mean, they have the highest strength of schedule outside of Fellowship Esports and EIG Reapers.
Only losing to Sword of Skilled.
Yeah,
So
And
What's
I-
saying
much
is
as
a
I think I
teammate
agree.
on one of my teams right now. My goat.
Didn't ask.
I think it will be a really fun finals, assuming that Sword Skilled and Low Ground Main makes it. But I think Sword Skilled right now is by far the best team in Masters,
Low Ground
in the NA Masters. Just based on what you guys were saying about how they were played, I think it's gonna be hard to take this team down. Also, like kind of Fletch pointed out, even though Shoebill does have the toughest strength schedule, well, of all the 4 playoff teams, Source Skilled has the second toughest. I'm going to give them a lot of credit here and think that Source Skilled will just kind of breeze through midseason.
I mean, hey, listen, that's fair. The record. Does anybody want to try to contradict that, or do we just think, sort of Skilled at least for an hour is just going to dominate NA Masters?
I think
Nor-
that I'm going to slip Hairdrammer a fat bill, and he's going to put us as just insta winning. Thoughts?
Listen,
Okay,
listen.
so Shoes Production
I'll-
Crew wins.
Yeah, Shoes Production Crew will win. Listen, we win at the end of the season. Trust. I'm coming back in week 5, and we're about to lock in. You're gonna have a real DPS line again.
I will never play again.
No, you're on support. No, listen.
you have
listen.
Hippie and Headrummer now. That's a much better support duo than me. And whoever the hell's gonna be there.
Listen. If there's people I could permabench on that team, Dex, you would not be first. There's one name I would bench.
Would I be second?
I don't. Maybe no. Wait, who else is on the team? Hold up.
Okay, okay, but here, are we all going with
Moving
Source
on.
Guild?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's
Are we
what I,
all- or
that's
is
what
there
I
gonna
said.
be
We all
anyone
just
that-
said that. We all just said this. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone just agreed
All right,
that we were doing that. Hold up. No, now I have to
Let's
pull
do
up
the
the
GM.
team. Who's on our team? No, I need to know. This is important. We're talking about CGL. I'm allowed to. Even though, we've only been just over an hour. We're chilling. I would say you're the third person I would bench on this team.
well,
But there's like notable tier gap of the first bench and then the next two.
That's crazy. Damn.
I hate how that photo shows my fucking hairline.
Unlucky.
No, listen, the hairline
Unlucky.
happens to the best. It happens. To the best.
Why I wear hats?
The hats are the way. They are the way.
Hats OP.
But speaking of the way,
All right,
I don't know.
GM.
I don't know what this transition is, but yeah, GM, the Grandmaster tier. What are we looking at? We're probably looking at top 4 teams.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's gonna be top. It's gonna be top 4 teams in GM. Big T-Tar fan has yet to play their 4th match, but I'm gonna assume they're gonna win that one. And if they do, they'll be the 1 seed, no matter what.
Who is
all they have to do is
who
win.
is this one against?
It would be against either Crystal or Cerberus. It looks like, or Loot Boxers, the bottom 3 teams.
Oh, okay.
Hey, although shouts out RRG Varsity.
Yeah,
This is much better than what we saw out of them last season.
RRG is like, I've casted RRG now in I think 3 different leagues. I love the fact that every time I see them, they are constantly getting better and better and better and better. It is great to see that. Also, in general, I just love seeing collegiate teams in CGL. It's really fun to have those teams come here and have it be another tournament that they can play
That's why I'm rooting for Jade Eagles. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit biased in that tier towards Jade
Fair enough.
Eagles. Also, any of the UNT club teams, but like all of the other ones didn't make the tournament. So
Well, here's another thing with Big T-Tar fan. These are your 2-time reigning champions. So they're back to back. They're looking for the 3-peat.
They are going for the 3-peat. No, are we boring you,
I'm
Spectrum?
sleepy. It's 2 a.m.
Listen, we're going. We're zooming. It's okay. Big T-Tar fan. You're clearly a fan, right, Spec?
I genuinely don't think I've cast this division once.
Really? Not. They've won 2 seasons in a row. You're telling me you've never cast an NAGM in the past 3 seasons?
Okay, if it's a previous season, it doesn't count because it's ancient history. You get me?
Ancient history.
I don't think this team has changed at all.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
These are
but like
the
the
same
meta
players.
changes, the game changes. Listen, the world changes about you.
But they
Even if you stay the
survived
same, then
meta.
your relationship between you and everything else is different.
Oh wait, this is an
That's
interesting.
philosophical thing, isn't it?
University of
Big
Tournament.
T. Yeah,
When there's
Academy.
university,
scroll up.
so the actual academy team is here with the retirees. That's interesting. Scroll up. What do you need
That's
to see?
that's not Tyranitar Tube.
No, that's
I
not
knew it was a
Tyranitar
person
Tube.
I didn't see.
That
Yeah,
is.
so are they just I don't know, man. Why are they called T-Tar?
You
So,
should ask
No
them.
affiliation with Tyranitar. No affiliation with the YouTuber. What are we doing here?
So, with that being said, we are all assuming it's going to be RRG versus big T-Tar fan, right? We don't think Unknown or University is going to punch up in the bracket.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. If it is, it's going to be a huge upset. That's all I would have to say about it.
Okay, so between
but-
the two, then, who do you think? Who do we have taken?
I don't know. You've got pedigree versus somebody who's, always getting better. Just based on history, I'm gonna give it to T-Tar,
Mhm.
but it's certainly a very real possibility for RRG to get it done. What I think is gonna happen here is that T-Tar wins 3-1 over RRG, and then we get a Map 7 Grand Finals at the end of the season. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with Fletch here. I think big T-Tar fan basically runs this tier until proven otherwise. Someone needs to beat them to make me think otherwise. So until then, this is just the big T-Tar tier.
Big tier tar fan.
Very simple, you know. Now NA Open, where things get interesting again. 32 teams. Is this 8 or 16? Do we know?
It's 8.
It's
eight.
only top 8.
Yeah, it's the top 2 from every group.
Yeah, so 4 groups, top 2 from every group,
16
which is going to be
singly.
incredibly competitive then. So we're looking at our top 2 from Group 1 being Dilducks. Currently has throughout the map Dilducks. We know and we love them. Okay. I hate this team name so unbelievably much.
It is
Oh,
pretty bad.
What's wrong with
Beyond
you?
500 hashtag.
I hate this team name. I actually pray on their downfall daily. Anyway, then we have Amplify and Siena Heights University. Good news, Amplify. You can focus on CGL a little bit more. That's mean. I'm so sorry. I love them. They're BPL heads.
I swear.
That
Oh,
was
okay.
very
Brought to you by Fear 500 ad used to be like better. Like
better
the stronger
better
roster.
than
rather.
3-1? Maybe the roster. Listen, there's
I don't know, maybe I just don't
15.
recognize the names.
Maybe.
Wait. There is still a chance that OK does not make it. Subsun, if they sweep, they will have a better map differential.
That's true. So, the Fiat ad could not make it. That would be interesting. Scrolling down to Group 3, you have a Vicious team is here. Vicious Sharks, 12 and run right now,
Yeah,
and YE Snowfall.
This group is run by 2 console teams, so shouts out.
Hey, listen, sometimes it's just what it is. And then, speaking of running the tier, you have Nightmare Rotation running down here, along with Agave Foxtails. So, a lot of undefeated teams so far, except for Group 2 is going through.
Nightmare Rotation has yet to play their last game, their 4th game. If they lose
It says
it,
they're
it's
4-0.
retirement home.
That's their 4 now.
On my screen, it says they're 3-0.
They
got
won
4-0.
a game today. 1 a.m. Oh, they haven't. Yeah, they played.
Okay, yeah,
It just
I
updated.
just opened this
Against
tab.
the Gaviottas. Bro,
Yeah,
look,
okay, I just
look at
opened
my
this tab.
Chungus co-host, bro.
Anyway, so we
Okay.
have, which it's like, here's the thing: from 32 teams, because midseason is limited and it's only going to be those top 8, this bracket's going to be fucking crazy. I think I shouldn't be swearing.
It
It's
is.
my bad, but like, holy,
Yeah.
It's your podcast, dude.
yeah, but it's run by CGL. Technically, Headrunner could tell me. Actually, that
We
should take
we
out
hey
Snowball.
we all cuss during the co-streams.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
They
lots
should
of
let me curse for casting.
lots of stacked
Two should be
rosters.
triple.
Lots of stacked rosters here. Who do we think? Who do we think is going to be like the fighters amongst all of these, and who's going to win it all? Anyone? Any particular? One?
Yeah, I don't know. I personally am gonna go with Dilducks because that team is insane. I think that they are probably the best team, but this is really interesting. This whole tier because this season we did combine NA and PC in our open tiers, and neither. What did I say? PC and PC?
You said NA and PC.
Okay.
Well,
Mhm.
both console and PC, but
Got it.
neither of those groups,
Amplify. Who's
neither
on
of
Team
those
Vex?
groups have a returning
Who's
champion.
on which team, Spectrum?
Team Vex.
Team Vex. We've got it right here on screen for you.
Okay.
Let's see. Thank you very
hey.
much.
Fun random update. I don't know if this will necessarily matter, but Subsun is currently playing right now, and they're down 0-1 to Vicious Unforgiven.
Unfortunate.
Vicious
that's
Unforgiven has
interesting.
only won 1 map all season long.
Is
I-
that, is
I
it that
too,
map?
I-
Wait, is it that map? Or is it the second map?
No,
No. Oh,
I don't
second
think it updates mid series.
That would be
I
hilarious.
think it's something like Amplify, Nightmare Rotate, Dilducks in that order.
Really? Do you
To
do
be honest
believe
with
in
you,
Amplify?
Amplify just kind of bailed from my mind. I think that their one loss. I am willing to put money on that. It was a forfeit.
It was a forfeit.
No, it says it's
no.
a 3-1.
Oh no, it was a loss.
No, it's a loss to
Okay.
mental institution who
Yeah.
didn't make it.
Yeah.
I'm willing
ultimately-
to say that this is a singular result, and it's like stuff happens. When you're playing games, like sometimes you have a play with a bad internet.
Where is...
Sometimes somebody's ill. Like it like shit happens. You know.
But also, I mean, this is the team that has had the highest stakes overall during the course of this season, not even just with CGL, but with them making it into OWCS NA.
It's,
So they've had a lot on their minds since the season started. And that was all the way back in week 1 before the update, before perks. Um, to be honest with you, even if Amplify's results in OWCS were lackluster,
They were still in
I
OWCS.
yeah, they
Yeah.
were one of the top 16 teams in
top 8.
this region.
Well,
Top eight. Top 8. Okay. Yeah, so even better, right? They were within the 1% of the 1% of all Overwatch teams. They just I just completely forgot about them when I made my prediction for Dill Ducks. I think that they just run this tier.
Didn't change
Now
the
that they're out of OWCS and they can they're gonna focus a little more on this as their practice for next stage. I think Amplify are gonna run this tier.
So I'm gonna say a team that no one said here, YA Snowfall. They've been around for a while, and I've always liked seeing this team play. Um, they're undefeated, only dropped 3 maps all season long. No one said Vicious Sharks, one of the only other undefeated teams here, but Vicious Sharks I think was the team that actually made the furthest of any of the Vicious org
Here's
last season. And I know you have all these other big names, and like personally, if you're gonna say my top 4, I was gonna say it's gonna probably be Dildux, it's gonna probably be Amp, it's gonna probably be Nightmare rotation, and then that fourth one I would almost just want to throw in YE, but
The
Here's
very
the-
fact
yeah.
that you're
Sienna.
structuring the very fact you're structuring this is I'll throw them in as well shows that there's just like a huge tier break. I feel like between the top 3 and everybody else.
Well,
Yeah, the problem is
I know I'm phrasing it wrong. I am phrasing it really wrong. I don't want to say I'm just throwing them in there, because they deserve a lot of credit for what their record is. But like, I feel very confident on Dildux, Amplify, and
yeah, I
Nightmare
think
making it. But I could see Sienna Heights making a run here in midseason. I could see YE Snowball. I could see Vicious Sharks making a run here and beating one of those top 3 teams that I said if they do go up against them.
I think my only problem with I like shouting out Snowfall, but when you put them up against some of these other massive hitters on the PC side, for as good as YE Snowfall is with a controller in their hands, they're just at a disadvantage because when you put the best PC players against the best console players, just in a vacuum mechanically, there's a gap. There's a
Yeah.
massive difference. It's all just faster on PC.
Hasn't Short Bus crapped on PC teams time and again?
I didn't say anything about Short Bus, putting
I'm just saying
lower end PC teams.
Okay, I'm just saying
because
that
the thing is that what I am talking about is that we are talking about the top 8 teams in CGL NA right now.
but you brought up the
And-
console thing, so I simply wanted to defend.
And I did
console
bring up the console team. Here's the thing. Short Bus is a better team than Snowfall, or was.
Yeah.
And that's not to disparage Snowfall. I think they're a great console team. But the fact that they're having to compete now with literally one of the top 8 teams in North America, that is going to put them at a disadvantage. This isn't saying they can't win a game, right? Because clearly they can beat. Surely not every team in their tier is a console team, right? So I would say that they've beaten PC teams before, but when you're taking this top console team, putting them up against some of these teams that have got pedigree at some of the higher levels of competition, it's just going to be so hard for Snowfall to compete consistently.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I think this is a team that could surprise a lot of people, and I think midseason is a good time to do it because you're gonna have all those other teams focusing on Dildux, Nightmare rotation, and Amplify. Even though Amplify they're done with OWCS, they still have to practice and prepare for the relegation matches they have coming up in a month.
Yep.
or something like that.
Well,
Like
whenever
they,
it
they still have to be preparing for that. And you could say that they're going to use CGL as those practice points to try out stuff. But that might be their downfall here is that they're going to be trying some stuff in CGL so that when they go do their scrims, they have an idea of how it's going to be. But I mean, Amplify and Nightmare Rotation, I would say would probably be that's how the bracket lays out. Would probably be the two that I would expect to see in the grand finals. Dildux, I just haven't seen them yet on stream, and that's more me. I know they're an incredibly talented team,
Yeah.
but I think going up against Amplify, if they go up against Amplify, I think Amplify beats them, and if they go up against Nightmare Rotation, I think Nightmare Rotation is a very very scary team, especially if you get them on a good day. If you get them on a bad day, you can easily beat them.
I think I've got Nightmare Rotation under Dildux right now.
Fair enough.
In my, because I casted a tournament where they were the runner-up in a 7-map series against another very, very good team. About a month and a half ago. This team is good.
Yeah.
This team is very, very good. And I think that they're good enough to where they can play around the gimmicks that Nightmare Rotation does.
Yeah.
Because I think that if you get Dildux on their best day versus Nightmare Rotation on their best day, I would put Dildux ahead of Nightmare Rotation.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that Amplify wins. And I do think that the Nightmare Rotation matchup into Dildux is close. But I think that strictly from a consistency and gameplay perspective, I think Dildux probably takes that head to head.
Who you picking to win?
Amplify.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Amplify too. Here.
Actually,
I think Amplify is a very, very fair put in.
Mega, you gonna be the differentiator here?
She wants so badly to root against the BPL players.
No.
Funny.
Okay, here's the thing. I literally played on a team with Rothy Philly for a BPL event. Like, these are also some BPL players here on Dildux. I love them. But it's not them. It's not Amplify. It's not Snowfall. It's this team right here. I believe that Nightmare Rotation, like, this is their time. They've kind of trolled around a little too much. And I think they're finally time to lock in and start, like, smacking around.
You think a Nightmare Rotation is going to lock in?
Yes, purely
Nightmare Rotation.
Purely for the reason of
no.
Listen. They are going to see Amplify sitting on the other side of this bracket, and they are going to say to themselves that we have to beat Amplify simply to prove a point.
Yeah.
No,
They're just
nothing
gonna
else.
bring out the Malga.
Dirt is going
Just
to
in.
lock in on the map. Like, listen, I truly think this Nightmare Rotation roster is going to do nothing. I think also underrated and should do well in the bracket, the Sharks, despite them not getting, their wins don't look that impressive. The Sharks incredibly good as well. I think I want to give them a shout out. That's why I made sure to pull them up here. It's just that Group 3 unfortunately does not look like that competitive a group, so they don't get to flex their muscles that much. But I think it's Nightmare Rotation. I believe in it. So
I think Nightmare Rotation are good. I just think that they are.
I think they need motivation in order to be at their best, and I think there's no greater motivation than getting to beat Amplify for them. I think because they want to be able to
main on this roster.
And Bastion's kind of good right now.
Yeah, like
Bastion main does not play.
Yeah, he does not play. He's here in name.
They play Plato, who's also a Bastion one trick, but Bastion's not good, so they play like.
Bastion's good right now.
I don't speak to insane people, I'm afraid. But no, listen, Bastion might not be good, but Plato's regular hit scan is actually quite good. Dirt's Malga is good, and obviously Malga is very strong right now. I think they can build strong comps. They have figured out enough ways of cringing through regular comps as well. Like, I don't know, I feel like they're a strong team. I just don't think they are Amplify strong. Because at the end of the day, like, whilst they were close to making OWCS, then they didn't.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly,
like,
and that's going to make them mad, and they're going to have to lock it. They're going to lock
I
in
don't know
for-
why we ever have
I
to
mean-
run with narratives like they are now more motivated
Because
they
I
didn't make
like
it.
narratives.
Why were they? Why were
Yeah.
they not motivated when they're trying to qualify for OWCS?
Because that was before perks. That was before perks. Perks
Perks
plus
make all the
motive.
difference, I'm sure.
They
like,
do.
Like, like perks
Okay.
are gonna like yeah, if I say Malcolm.
Okay, hang on.
But like, I get the rest of the
Hold on.
heroes.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Hold on.
Nightmare rotation, just ban Ana and they'll be okay.
Okay,
surely.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, let's actually be fair for a second on the whole perks thing. We were in a hazard meta. The hazard looks absolutely awful for this team. On every metric, on everything. The only thing that's going to look good on this team is Plato on Sojourn. And even then, when you don't have the rest of the team playing it, it looks bad. So I'm not. So there is a difference between when they were qualifying for OWCS and now. There is a difference besides not just perks. We have actually changed meta. That is important that I want to know.
They're a one-trick team. Like the meta is so arbitrary to them.
Nah, listen, I'm telling you, NA Open.
Like,
It's gonna be
look,
another
look,
one of those ones.
look at
I think no.
Look, what's it called? Oh yeah. Look at Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What point in the meta were Oh yeah
They're
really
not
good?
in-
What point in the meta were Oh yeah really bad? I know they're not there. I'm using them as an example. Well, when were they ever good, or really bad? They were always the exact same level because when you're a one-trick team, then it doesn't matter what the meta is. You function as like a gatekeeper of skill, right? If your
Okay.
opponents know how to play against you, you just lose. No matter what the state of the meta is, it's just how it goes. If they don't know how to play against you, then you just easy win.
Listen, when
It's as simple as that.
I want you to revisit this in a week, and if Nightmare Rotation have won, I would like a handwritten feather and quill apology
I
about
can't wait.
Nightmare
for all of us to be
Rotation.
wrong.
Okay.
I can't wait for all of us to be wrong.
All
No,
of us are
absolutely.
wrong. It's actually going to be the OKO brought to you by Beyond Bond.
No. Like we all said, Amplify and Nightmare Rotation. Like
Yeah, well,
there's
that's just
I think,
waiting.
4 other incredibly talented teams here. That
I
could,
mean, what,
that
you
I
have-
could-
said Dilducks.
I would say you have
I said
Dilducks.
Dilducks
You
could do it.
have. Honest
but
to goodness,
you picked Amp.
if Mental Institution was in, I'd put on Mental Institution. I'd be
Yeah.
down for that. They've lost so
They're
many
not.
maps for some reason. They've just lost so many maps for some reason. But anyway, that is NA Open.
That's it.
Well, no, there's South America.
No, we got South America.
We have our lovely South America where we know nothing. we know absolutely nothing.
No, we're
So
just
this-
we just can't do it.
Listen,
It's crazy.
this one is a speeder. I simply want purely off of name from. I think this is going to be an 8. I think this is going to be an 8
Tio
bracket.
Cola 3-0 over Goaties.
Tio Cola
I'm gonna go
3-0
with Storm.
over Goaties. We got a Storm Predator. Dr. John, what these names? What are you thinking of
Can you give me a second to stop coughing, please?
them?
My voice is.
The voice is gone. It's late in the. Listen,
Yeah.
Spec is powering through right now. It is currently a powerful 2 a.m.
Here. Well, Spec gets his voice back. I'm gonna go with Storm, mostly because I've been able to watch them on stream more than I feel like any of the other South American teams,
Mhm.
and they just impress me every time. They look incredibly well coordinated as a team, and I just think that they are going to be a problem to deal with no matter what.
I agree. Like they've been on stream more often than not, just because they normally schedule their games a lot better for the South America broadcast. But like, if you are the CGL head, NA or EU, haven't watched any South America games, we put them all on YouTube for a reason. Go back and watch the Storm games. Like, this team is actually kind of crazy, and I'd love to see more from them.
Yeah, I think they all they're also on Twitch on CGL too. Almost.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, most nights,
but what I'm
yeah.
saying is to go back to watch the games. You can go to
Yeah.
YouTube. But yeah,
but I'm also saying
they're
watch
always
them
on
when they're-
CGL too. But
Yeah.
always there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Senju has done a great job with everything.
we love South America. We love them.
Yeah.
They just gotta let us
I just
cast
wish
their
I could
games.
cast it.
Well, listen, go learn a new language. Literally, that is the gatekeeping here.
I think
We could do an English cast.
Yeah, I
What?
think we've had one English cast for South American.
The unfortunate problem is that we just don't get to pick our games anymore.
That's true.
Tia Cola and Godies, I could see making a little bit of a run. I imagine it's gonna be top 4.
Top 4.
I imagine it's gonna be top
8, but
4.
it'd be weird. Yeah. Overall,
I imagine it's gonna be top
we'd
4. Phoenix Rising is another interesting one.
Mhm.
I'm gonna assume that their probably only loss is to Storm. I think it was actually.
We can find out.
Actually, no. Phoenix Rising's only loss was to One Tricks.
Ew, that's weird. That's weird.
Phoenix Rising is another fun team. I think I've seen them on stream a couple times, but I just think Storm is a much better team than Teo Cole and Goldies at the moment. So
this is the team
I mean,
you're
that's
thinking
gonna be
of.
fun to watch.
It's a 3-1 team that also just only lost to Storm. That's who you're thinking of. But yeah. Listen, we love South America here. Thumbs up. But with that being said, sure we may have maybe rushed through. There's so many brackets. This week, if you are not following the CGL channel, you're doing something wrong. Because there's going to be so much stuff happening. Why did 9 notifications pop up here? I'm kind of scared now. That's going to be annoying to
Yeah.
later.
Me when
but-
somebody fell for a phishing hack.
Anyway, but yeah, we speedran some brackets here, but again, like I said, there's going to be tons of games to cover. You can earn CGL tokens, which, in case you're unaware, you've been living under a rock, I have the site open. You can look at all these great things you can get with CGL tokens. Look, I can even get 200 Overwatch points right now. We can get some team logos, that way we can stop having, like, pictures of dudes in fields. That'd be fun. That'd be
Okay,
pretty
no,
cool.
that goes hard though. I can't even hate.
I can hate actively.
Have you ever been in a field?
Yes.
It's great, right?
You know what? That is fair. It was pretty great. I did break my leg in a field, but sure, it was pretty great. But yeah, make sure you're following CGL for all that stuff. And is there a game segment this week? The answer is no. Do you want to know why? Because I suck, and I didn't make a game.
True.
But, you know the one thing that we can't ever skip? Is Headrammer's Player of the Week.
Headrammer's Player of the Week.
Now, it has to happen. It has to happen. There's tons of options. You could look at anything in CGL.
Teacher.
Yeah. Go
Teacher,
ahead.
is it what I said earlier?
It could possibly be what you said earlier.
Okay, can I talk?
Well, hang on. Let me bring up the image of it first.
Say
and
hi
then
to him.
You can let me bring up the image here. Because your Headrammer's Player of the Week, even though he's no longer an Overwatch player, he finally got a dub. It's Carpe.
It's Carpe!
It's Carpe. He finally got a dub at Masters Bangkok, I think it was. Now, granted, he did not play. He sat on the bench.
Who cares?
But this goes hard. This goes incredibly hard.
Hey, Philadelphia Fusion mentioned any day that Philadelphia Fusion mentioned is a good day.
Dude, look at
T1
Dude.
fighting, baby.
Dude, look at Carpet. Look at this record, man. Somebody, oh my, like, Spectron, you're a player who plays because winning is cool
Yeah.
sometimes, right? Do you think your mental survives this streak?
Yeah, I mean, it survives because the thing is, mental is like a temporary thing. But do you want to keep playing the game after you keep on coming second? I assume you do, right? Because you're gonna keep on. It's like
No.
it's like getting edged, right? You keep on feeling you're almost there.
I'm
asking, get over the line.
I am asking you specifically, like you, Spectreon.
Yeah.
Do you
I can't lie,
do you run this
I'm the
streak
type
and
that
then do
keeps
you
playing
keep
until I drop.
competitive?
Oh yeah, but I also wouldn't swap games. So
You're telling me you're not tilted after this. You're like, all right, let's lock back in, go again.
I mean, I'm tilted, but I wake up the next day and I got this rise and grind, folks. You know,
That's powerful mental, but I can't relate to it,
dude,
unfortunately.
my mental is iron.
But yeah, so you know what,
So is that
Carpe,
man.
sure you're playing a completely different game now, but listen, you got it. Look at it. You got the bad Pachamari reply. The you win. He did it. It's amazing. You love to see it.
I had to go break out the jersey.
Wait, the jersey.
Admit
wait
it.
a minute.
Admit it.
Hold up, wait, I have a thing for this. Hold on. Oh look,
Whoa.
it's you.
Whoa. Yeah.
Wait,
Admittedly, it's not a
it's
T1 Valorant jersey.
I was gonna say,
It's not a
what
Valorant
jersey.
jersey.
Is it?
It's the League of Legends World Championship jersey.
Oh,
So
get that shit off my screen. Absolutely not. You made me put League on this screen. No. Get away.
it's T1. It's T1. Okay.
And
I
just-
only have the one T1 jersey,
hold up,
and
can
I
make
bought
your
it for
camera
Faker.
disappear? All right, he's
So-
gone. He's gone. We don't have to worry. People can hear him, But if we don't have to worry about,
I bought the jersey for Faker, and it cost $150, so I'm gonna wear it when I
then
can.
Baker saw probably $7 of that. So good job. But
I don't know. I don't know what's
Listen,
happening.
with all that being said, Spectreon is EP.
I don't watch
Let
Valorant.
let me properly wrap this up. That way, Spectreon could go to bed. Of course, I'd like to thank my guests for being here. You know, this breakdown, it wouldn't happen without them, because
Play
otherwise I'd be
games.
yapping by myself.
Oh, shut up.
Cat!
Can you mute
let's
him?
just
What the fuck is he doing?
I don't know. It's his Lego
Shut up,
cat.
Cat.
He does this sometimes.
I got a T-Rex!
Just mute him. He's divulging into insanity at the moment. We don't need that.
Yeah, that sounds like typically what happens here. Yeah. All right, he's muted. Nobody has to worry about hearing Fletch anymore. You can just see what he's doing and pretend you know what's happening. But yeah, so make sure you turn into the mid-season. It's going to be crazy. We're going to be covering all the action next week on the breakdown as well. I'm going to see if maybe I can schedule that earlier in the day so it could be a super long episode where we get to see how right or wrong we were about these brackets, because, you know, we are clearly the intellectuals here. That's why I cultivated this set, right? We have the smartest minds we could find. But with all that being said, until, I guess, next week, enjoy some CGL. Smile. Thumbs up.